A very good evening, friends, audience, ladies and gentlemen. I must thank my colleague Pooja for having said a little that she said a rank outsider to the marketing function. Yes, I am. I'm also happy to say that a hardcore mechanical engineer by qualification, by work experience, after 37 years of working with the industry, taken to academics a little over 5 years. And friends, let me confess in the beginning, when I came this morning here, I was asking myself a question. I said, Chari, you are a mechanical engineer, teaching operations management, and what the hell are you doing in a marketing summit like this? I checked back with some of my colleagues, and then my colleague Professor Dhruv said, you have to be sitting through and through and through the whole day, Chari, here. I said, why? He said, otherwise you are not allowed for the cocktail in the evening. I said, okay. Then I had alternate plans also, friends, during the day. I thought, okay, I'll be here in the morning, be visible to everybody, then go out to Delhi, meet a couple of friends, come back for the event in the evening. But I must now confess that the moment I sat through the session, every speaker, every session was so binding, I forgot about the rest of the Delhi. And I got stuck. And I don't know how many of you might have observed, but I was, in all the 3 sessions, I was the first of the 5 or 6 members who were back in the hall, because I didn't want to miss even a sentence being spoken by the esteemed speakers on the dais here. It was so educative and involved. I learned a lot during this time. Morning I was a little disappointed, definitely on one count. When I was being isolated in the Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z category, I was cursing myself also for having been born in 1947. So why the hell that happened? But thanks to them, they said 45 onwards are Gen X, otherwise I would have gone even minus. Coming to that, then I started realizing that X, Y, Z and Alpha is not perhaps the right categorization, because the way I have seen IT industry growing and the social media coming up, thanks to all my young friends in the academics, who kept teaching me all the time anything new that came in. I used to go sit with them. I said, hey, I don't know this, please tell me. And some of them, they helped me in opening up my first Facebook account sometime in 2010. Though I had a mail account right from 1996 onwards, I started dumping, and as I said, Gen X. In my generation of my parallels, there are very few people who are anywhere on the so-called social media. So I didn't know what to do, whom to interact with. So I started dumping some of my material that I have been doing in the last 4 decades. Then I realized in the 3rd session that was going on, that was something great that happened to me in my life. Because out of some of the postings that I did, sometime in 2010, based on that posting, that was the first call I ever got from the Paris office of United Nations Environment Program. God knows how they got my contact name, contact address, contact phone number on my mobile. And they said, Professor Chari, we hear you are doing something on the waste. Is it right? I said, yeah. How did you know? They said, we read. I said, oh, good, people are reading. And that turned out in the next 8 days, that turned out to be a major project given by the United Nations to our institute on waste oils recycling to prepare a compendium of technologies. Something started from some small posting somewhere, but it had that impact. That project was done beautifully. Luckily, everything went fine. And this was read. Once the document was on the United Nations website, somebody else sitting in Japan, UNEP office, read it. They contacted, says, do you also work in the waste agricultural biomass area, Mr. Chari? So, yes. There came the second major project from United Nations Environment Program. And following that, somebody sitting in Costa Rica read something and they said, hey, can you come? And just to share with you, I'm going there in April, friends. Now then I started realizing the power of the so-called social media. And also I realized that thank God I was not writing something trash on my sites, otherwise people would have read that also. And this is an advice and a suggestion and a request to all my young friends. You've got to be very careful what you are putting on any one of these sites because people are reading. With that in the background, having this experience, I designed a new gen for myself. I say I'm a gen minus Y. Okay? Neither fully Y nor I would like to be in X. Because we are in academics, so we have the ranking system, minus A plus grades. I say, why not minus Y? Well, friends, with that as a background, just to share with you, I thought unconsciously, very unconsciously, I was perhaps doing some marketing myself about my work through the social media, which I suddenly realized only after the third session was on. Maybe unconsciously, but that is what it seemed to me. This little thoughts on that, because Pooja wanted me to share some of my thoughts. This is all came to my mind immediately. I thought I'll share with you. Now I'll become a little formal, not the way I was. I'd like to express that distinguished speakers, delegates, media friends, faculty colleagues, guests from corporate and academia, students, ladies and gentlemen. The Indian Marketing Summit has been the yearly flagship event of BIMTech since 2007. Today's edition was the 8th summit in the chain. This year it has assumed a special significance considering that it is being jointly organized by BIMTech and the PhD chamber where we are sitting. Indian Marketing Summit selects an important theme every year. The main theme is then broken down to sub-themes on which threadbare discussions are held by the experts in their particular area. It is BIMTech's endeavor to highlight the theme of contemporary significance in the field of marketing. This year's theme, India's evolving youth culture, opportunities for brands, signifies the impact of the youth power in creating opportunities for the brands. It is important for the marketers to ensure favor and likings by the youth for their brands, since the youth interest often alone weighs heavily in determining the success or failure of the marketing efforts. It can indeed be seen that some of the best today, Mr. Mahesh Gupta, Vice President, PhD Chamber, outlined the importance of involving youth power in various fields, including marketing, education, etc., as they are the nation's hope for the future. Director BIMTech, Dr. H. Chaturvedi, in his address, has very aptly given a reference to some very relevant statistics, according to which the population of the youth in India is continuously increasing, and by 2020 is estimated to be touching over about 570 million. Also, the largest consuming class population of about 50 million is in the age group of 25 to 45 years. Their importance and preferences, therefore, in developing brands cannot be ignored. The youths now feel that they have the power to have their way, and we must be aware of that. Mr. Anurag Batra, Chairman and Editor-in-Chief, Exchange for Media, emphasized the power of mind, and he said you should have the idea and market will automatically come if the idea is good. Also, Ms. Jessie Paul, CEO Paul Writers, gave a thought-provoking address. The topic for the first technical session was how young India thinks, the Gen Y minds. Ms. Mehak Suri, founder, Red Dream, spoke about the future of marketing according to the youth's tastes and preferences. Mr. Pradeep Chopra, CEO and co-founder, Digital Vidya, talked about aging Gen Y customers through engaging Gen Y customers through social media. followed by Mr. Amit Tiwari, Director and Country Head, Media Philips, spoke about the day in the life of the youth, prime time to my time. The session was chaired by Mr. Ishan Sarkar, Chief Operating Officer, Quality Group. He gave insights on the customer trends, technologies, and expectations. He also dealt on the understanding youth attitudes towards social media. The topic for the second technical session was media consumption habits of Indian youth, relevance of social media. Mr. Mohit Hira, CEO, Hangama Digital Services and Head, JWT Digital India, emphasized on creating relationship between youth and brand through social media. Professor Ujjwal K. Chaudhary spoke about the age of great change. The session was chaired by Mr. Sandeep Arora, Director Marketing and Market Development, Intel South Asia. He gave his views about the media consumption, habits of Indian youth, and the relevance of social media. The topic for third technical session was reaching the youth market, youth marketing strategies for building loyalty. Ms. Parul Mehta, CEO, We Commission Media Private Limited, discussed about the practices to lure Generation Y. She also discussed about the challenges in developing a marketing strategy and bringing in innovation and creativity. Mr. Arun Kalra, CEO, Vibgyor Brand Services, discussed about the challenges in connecting with Gen Y. The session was chaired by Ms. Ananta Singh Raghuvanshi, Executive Director, Sales and Marketing, DLF Universal Limited. I must thank you very much, ma'am, for updating my knowledge. All these years I thought DLF is only DLF Kutub Enclave and the ship-like looking building in Gurgaon. But now I know how wide the empire is. She discussed about how real-time does a brand need to be and emphasized on the important aspects of a brand staying relevant in rapidly changing markets. That was the day, friends. Now we have come to the close of a full day of real brainstorming. It was a dream come true to see and meet such great luminaries and practitioners speaking on various areas related to this subject theme. We have perhaps heard the best of voices on the 8th Indian Marketing Summit theme. The discussions at the summit have hopefully successfully contributed in outlining the need for understanding the Indian youth and their preferences, as well as why and how they buy the bewildering variety of products that are on offer to them. It has also provided the participants an insight into the various strategies adopted by brands competing for a share of their minds and pockets. The speakers in the above session, all of very high profile and experts in their own fields, came up with excellent and interesting ideas in their high quality presentations. There were interesting questions and answers in each of the sessions. I place on record on behalf of myself and Birla Institute of Management Technology our sincere thanks and gratitude to all the speakers for making these sessions informative, interactive, and interesting, with lots of valuable takeaways. The moderation of each of the sessions by the respective chairpersons was perfect. The time requirements were quite well maintained. I must specifically compliment each of the session moderators for so efficiently conducting these sessions. Each of them summed up the outcome of their sessions in a very meaningful manner and with great clarity. The participants have kept the sessions lively and at a very high intellectual level by their interjections and contributions to the discussion. I sincerely thank all the delegates for joining us in making this event a great success. We do hope that participants in this summit will go back with a new knowledge and host of practical ideas and solutions to the problems confronting them in regard to the opportunities for brands among the youth. I hope that they shall carry pleasant memories, new acquaintances, and business contacts. I am sure our students with marketing specialization would also have found the summit a great opportunity for learning about the intricacies of framing marketing strategies for promoting opportunities for brands among youth. I'll close this with the response of the media has been very welcome and good. We are grateful to them for their cooperation and support. The 8th Indian Marketing Summit 2014 could not have come out with such a grand success without the complete support from PhD Chamber. Right from the beginning, they have associated with us in every aspect of planning and have been instrumental in identifying the speakers as well as the great audience present here today. They have given their solid support, which was greatly appreciated with gratitude. I want to specifically mention the names of Mr. Devender Arora and Ms. Shikha Sabharwal. Within BIMTech, no stone was left unturned to ensure that the summit becomes a grand success. All members of the organizing committee, led by Professor Dhruv Chak and specially supported by Professor Alok Bharadwaj, in liaising with PhD Chamber, other faculty colleagues, administrative officials and students under the guidance of our director, took this as their personal responsibility and contributed with utmost commitment. I convey our appreciation and thanks to them too. Thank you all. And here we close.